This is the new AMG GLE 63, and this is the new GLS 63. Forget electric motors and giant batteries, these new SUVs both come with massive twin-turbo V8s. And there's more, because these new engines get the sort of tech you normally see in track-focused supercars. And there are plenty of other exciting upgrades as well. It looks like AMG has finally got its mojo back. But before we get into the engines, we need to talk about the design. Starting with this GLE 63. Just look at the front end. The old car wasn't exactly subtle, but this one has dialed the aggression all the way up. The new grille is bigger, bolder, and has a silver ring around the edge, which makes the car look like it's getting a dental exam. And check out what it looks like at night. Yeah, the whole thing lights up like an influencer's ring light. And speaking of lights, just look at what the designers have done to the headlamps. Instead of a relatively subtle nod to the iconic Mercedes logo, like on the AMG GT 4-door, you get 4 massive stars across the front. They remind me of novelty sunglasses, which probably isn't the high-end image Mercedes was going for. And it's the same story on the GLS, although on that car, the stars are stacked vertically, so they look more like face tattoos. The rest of the new car's bumpers are actually pretty similar to before. You get large intakes on either side and some contrasting trim at the edge of the front splitter, but that's it. It's almost impossible to spot the differences down the side. The bodywork is almost identical, and yes, you'll be able to get the GLE as this coupe and a taller upright SUV. However, there are new alloy wheels on offer across the range. They measure up to 22 inches on the GLE and a whopping 23 inches on the GLS. But can you spot what's changed at the back? Yeah, both cars have even more star graphics in their brake lights. The GLE keeps things relatively sensible with 4, but the GLS has gone all out with 6. I get that AMG has always been slightly flashier than BMW's M Division or Audi's RS department, but this is ridiculous. At least the 4 massive exhaust pipes have stuck around on both cars. Although, if they're anything like the old models, these will be oversized metal trims with smaller pipes hiding inside. As you've probably guessed by now, these aren't completely new models. They're comprehensive updates for the same GLE that's been on sale since 2018, and the same GLS that's been around since 2019. But I'm not mad that Mercedes is keeping these cars alive, especially because it means their iconic 4-litre twin-turbo V8s are getting a new lease of life. As well as new intakes, exhausts, camshafts and upgraded turbos, Mercedes has given these SUVs a new flat-plane crank. The crankshaft converts the piston's up and down motion into rotation. A cross-plane crank has its throws set 90 degrees apart, giving a rumbling V8 sound, but more inertia. A flat plane crank has its throws 180 degrees apart, enabling faster revs and a higher pitched wail. Ferrari famously uses flat plane cranks in its V8 supercars, and so did AMG in the ultra-exclusive GT Black series. So what on earth is it using a flat plane crank for on a big heavy SUV? Well, it's not for huge power gains. Both cars have 612 horsepower and 850 Nm of torque, which is the same as before. And they still use the same 22 horsepower electric motor and mild hybrid system to save a bit of fuel when you're cruising and add an extra 205 Nm of torque when you suddenly accelerate. But there is method in AMG's apparent madness. The internals of a flat plane crank V8 tend to be lighter than a cross plane crank, and this is one reason why they can rev up so quickly and hit insane red lines. This saves fuel and therefore reduces carbon dioxide emissions. Also with a flat plane crank, the exhaust pulses coming from each cylinder bank are more regular. That's why they have that high-pitched wail. But actually, this doesn't make much difference in a naturally aspirated engine, like in an old Ferrari. But in a twin-turbo car, like the new GLE and GLS 63s, this smoother flow of exhaust gases helps the 2 turbos work more efficiently. Basically, they create more boost more of the time. So how does this affect the performance of the new SUVs? Well, the 0 to 60 times haven't changed for either car. The GLE 63 does it in 3.9 seconds and the GLS in 4.2 seconds, and they both hit the same 174 mph top speed. But I don't really care, because these engines should feel very different to drive, and they should sound completely different too. And that's not the only thing that's completely changed about these cars, because check out these interiors. There are screens for days. Both cars get a new wraparound driver's display that completely absorbs the central touchscreen. And because it's 2026, you can't have a high-end luxury car without some kind of dedicated passenger display as well. Seriously, does anyone actually use these? Most passengers will just be on their phone, not messing around with the car's screen. Anyway, this stuff is carried over from the standard non-AMG versions of the new GLE and GLS, but in these 63 models, you get different graphics, specific performance readouts, and customization options. The seats have also been given an AMG makeover with extra support and new exclusive leather options. And you also get a very similar steering wheel to the AMG GT, with the all-important rotary switches. You use these to switch between different driving modes, adjust the stiffness of the adaptive air suspension, and my favourite, crank those exhaust valves all the way open. Passengers in the GLS's third row will thank you for it, at least for a bit. But will your wallet thank you? Well, almost certainly not. Mercedes hasn't confirmed exactly how much these cars will cost yet, but you can guarantee they'll be slightly dearer than the outgoing models. That means the GLE 63 will set you back over £140,000 and a range-topping GLS 63 will be over £160,000. I'll be reviewing both these cars as soon as I can get my hands on them to tell you if they're worth the cash. Or are these European SUVs just overpriced because China is offering more power for less money in the form of the Zeekr 8X? If you want to find out exactly what I mean, you need to check out the video just on the right of this screen. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.